in here.
What's up, profitable stylists? We're not waiting for Bernard. We're going live this week because I am super excited. We are doing a review for the She Color Rings. We've got the new She Color Rings are in. It is over 160 different colors. It is insane the amount of offering that the She hair extensions are offering now. They've got solid colors, mixed colors, fantasy colors, two-tone colors, rooted colors, balayage color, ombre colors. I get to sound like a QVC commercial today. This is freaking awesome.
You do sound, and we're giving one away. So let's say that right away.
We're giving one away. So
how much does this thing normally sell for?
It's like $150, but there's going to be some promotions and stuff that they're going to be doing. We're going to give one away.
Every single entry that you do on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, She Hair USA.
Yeah.
So if you go there, post a picture, and then tag, a lot of people say hashtag with this sign, but we want that at symbol, that it looks kind of like this, the at symbol, She Hair USA. That way you tag us. We know that you posted that picture. Every single picture that you post and tag with at She Hair USA is an entry. So you could do 10 a day, 5, 10, 15 a day, or as many as you want, and be in that entry, much more, get a better chance of winning the coloring. How many are we giving away? Just one coloring?
Yeah, every tagged entry and every follow on the Instagram page counts as an entry. So the more you tag, the more entries that counts for. And I'm too excited. That's my problem. So the original ring was $150. This is the new ring now. This is actually $200 now, or $199, 99, 97, right, whatever it is. But yeah, so we're giving one away. So go ahead and go on there, do your tags, do your follows, get your entries in, get yourself a free color ring. Why not? That's fun. And you get to promote yourself as well.
Can everyone see that third screen? Do you have it up right now?
I will put it up right now. So here's an overview of what the 3 rings now look like.
I'm going to go pick up that tripod and kind of do a little close-up so people can see all of the colors right away. Because I know sometimes we don't keep people to the end of the video, and I want to give them the good stuff right away. I'm just looking at my notes, making sure I said everything I think we did. It's going to be hard to hear me because the voice is going to come through over there. But I'm going to do something a little more close up here, just so you can kind of see how many. So this was our natural ring right at first, right? And it says it on there. Can you read the tag in there?
So yeah, that's the ring that you got in the middle. That's the natural colors. Those are solid. Those are just solid colors. The entire strand from K-tip, from the keratin bond all the way through the length of the strand, that's all a solid color. And some of the new colors that they've added on there are actually ashy colors. So for example, some of the things I'm excited about is originally there's still 1B, which is black, but now you've got 1N, which is ashy. You've got 2, 4, 6, which are the original dark colors. Now you've got 3, 5, 7. Those are the ashy colors of those. You've got newer colors like the 73, the 20. Oh man, I got to look at my ring now.
Before you go into the more of the natural, before I lose grip on this thing.
Oh, yeah, right. Then we got to look at the other ring. So to the left, the ring to your left, Bernard, that is, so it's still got the M colors, the mixes, which are highlighted and low lighted swatches. Then you've got the two tones, which is the T. So the top third is one color, and then the bottom 2/3 is the second color. And then you've got the fantasies, which are red, green, purple, new purple, fuchsia, purplish pink, teal, acid green, hunter green. So you got so many different selections. And then the most exciting, what everybody's been waiting for, if you go to the third ring, Bernard, on the right side, that is what everybody's been asking about, the highest demand request we've had. This is the rooted, we've got the balayage, and we've got the ombre swatches are now available. So the rooted is the first inch or two underneath the K-tip, underneath the keratin bond. That's dark. And then the rest, all the rest of the length is the second color. The ombre is broken down into thirds. You've got the top third underneath the K-tip, and then you've got the middle, and then you've got the bottom. So you've got a gradient, a beautiful transition from dark to medium to light. And then the balayage, which is even more exciting. A balayage is a combination of a highlight and low light like our M colors and a rooted combined. So in a balayage, you've got the top third underneath the K-tip, that's rooted, darker color. And then that dark color continues all the way through the length of the hair, but then about a third of the way down, so the other 2/3 of the hair is the lighter color to give you a soft balayage effect. On these swatches, the contrast is going to be a little bit stronger, just so you can see the variation of the color combinations that they're putting together. But when you're actually getting a pack of hair, it is so beautifully blended together. It's like a seamless. It's so awesome. The amount of customization options that we could do with these is absolutely phenomenal. So those are the 3 rings. I got to catch a breath now. I'm too excited. Yeah. Way too excited about this.
That tripod was a lot heavier than I expected.
Your morning workout done.
I thought it was going to be a little smoother. I think I was a little too shaky. I think it's still kind of cool to have so many freaking colors. You know, I mean, my business partner and I were talking the other day, and he said, you know, some extension companies are successful with like 30 colors on the color ring. How can people just, I don't know, how can you even figure out 100 and over 160? It's crazy. On top of that, let's say, God forbid, you can't find the color match for your client. So you just get that. This is one of the genius things of this company. We package the hair in 10 strands per pack. So when you buy hair, let's say the average person puts in I know it's usually more, but let's say you put in 100 strands of hair. Many companies are packing in 25 strands. So you get 4 packs of hair and you've got 100 strands. That means you could pick 4 colors because you can only get 4 different. We package in 10 strands. So that's 10 packs of hair. You buy in a pack of 10, 10 times to get 100 strands. You can literally pick 10 different colors. Mm-hmm. The creativity option that happens there, it goes from 4 to 10. So the creativity of being able to mix. I mean, why not get 10 different colors? Now, I'm not saying you have to get 10, but you can get 2 or 3 packs of one or another, but you literally can. You can build your own ombre balayage with ombre balayage, Shatush, or any of the other colors by picking if you're transitioning from dark to light or light to dark, you can put them in rows from the bottom up, doing that, and then still mixing in between them. And we've done a video before. I think RJ is going to link some of the videos, and we're going to make a video in the near future, kind of explaining and showing all the colors and what you can do with them. But you hardly ever buy all one color, no matter what, even if it's blended. Do you?
You're also, there is short, regular length, extra long, and then they also offer straight or natural body, wavy, and curly texture. So they got 3 different textures, 3 different lengths, and a lot of selection.
Yeah. I mean, we really could talk all day about the color selections, but I think what that really brings you into is the creativity of what's going on. So the creativity,
what I love about it is that's what I love about extensions. There's no rules into what or how you can mix and match everything. You could take short length, put it through the top, that creates a layered effect. You could take the regular length and start putting that through the middle. You could take the extra long, put that through the bottom. You've just created a natural flow without even cutting or layering yet or doing much of anything yet. You could take solid color and alternate every other bond or every second bond with some other ombre rooted balayage, Shatush, mixed, a fantasy. You could even take all the solid colors and just the way you combine those, whether you make a row of one and a second row of a different color, or you alternate those bonds together. There's so many different ways of combining the extensions together. It's absolutely amazing. Plus the fact that they're K-tips and they come in increment of 10s. You can cross them into other stuff as well too. So if somebody has to wear a top, or if somebody has to wear a replacement piece or something, they still have room underneath their head, and you can go in and add more length.
Wait a minute. My hairdressers put extensions on people's wigs, hair pieces, beaded top.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right on it. And even not if it's synthetic hair, because the heat of the tool may melt the synthetic hair, but human hair, wigs, pieces, beaded toppers, they highlight those with keratin tips.
That's really cool.
Put it right into the wig or the hair piece. They'll say, my wig is getting a little thin. They will add extensions to thicken it, but they'll also add extensions to highlight or low light. Do you remember in the early days, before we had all this creativity, we used to take, the first thing I wrote down here as you were talking was the customizability of just the one keratin bond. It's a rectangle, and we cut it down. So it goes from a tall rectangle to a short rectangle. And then we cut it in half to make 2 bonds out of it, or cut it in thirds to make 3 bonds out of it. We used to cut them in half and have a black bond and a blonde bond, cut them in half, put the 2 together, heat it up, and pile them up on the table before the client got there. And we made our own mixed color or piano color or blended color. There's so many words and names for it. So you can still do that. That creativity is still there if you just don't like the 160 mixes we already have and you want to make your own custom mix. Just cut the bonds in half, or put 2 whole ones and put them together. Do you ever still mix 2 together?
Oh, yeah. Because especially with these, because look, we've had, where is it? Here on this side of the ring. We've had these rooted colors in now for how long? For like the past 6 months, almost a year, we've had these rooted colors in. And people were like, oh, I want, R260. I want black into super blonde, right? And then everyone was like, oh, but by the way, I want to break that here, like this one, or 261, And then everyone's like, oh, but can you break this up a little bit? Can you soften this up just a little bit? I'm like, yeah, it kind of defeats the whole purpose, but sure. But then, so you take, I've done it where was it? I'm
so what
too
do you
excited
break it up
about
with?
it right now.
What do you break it up with?
So imagine trying to take a red, trying to take a wine red and doing it with hair color, trying to mix it in, right?
You'd have a lot of bleeding, huh?
That would be a lot of bleeding. But now you split the Bordeaux in half, you split the R261 in half, you combine those 2 together to make your own. And man, it's like the wildest, oh crap, this is the wildest extension.
Did the ring open?
No, it didn't open, but hold on.
Oh, thank goodness. Sometimes that chain will come unhooked if you're not careful, and they go everywhere. I heard that's how Darren learned about one of the new colors. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, the ring popped open. They all went scattering, and he goes, "What is this swatch?"
Yeah, he's putting them all back together, and he's learning. Oh, we have new colors that no one told us about. So so whatever it takes to learn about those new colors. So the other thing that made me think when you were talking about the layers, putting the short and then the different lengths on top of each other to build the layers, the ends of our extensions of She Hair USA's hair extensions are more natural on purpose.
Good point.
I know a few people that come from other companies say, "Ooh, your hair looks a little thinner." Not in the mid strand to the root base end of it. Just the ends look a little thinner. But we usually, when we say hair is whatever length, it's actually sometimes a couple inches longer than that, because we realize if you want to cut it off and make it blunt, you can have it at that exact length that you're ordering. But we go a little longer and we have it broken up so that, let me do this real quick. That way, I almost forgot to knock my screen on accident. So I wanted to make sure I just stayed with the trend of earthquakes in my videos. But but the ends are so layered so well that sometimes, actually, you know what? There were years ago where I had 3 or 4 hairdressers going to help me at a hair show. And I said, girls, I just want you to know before I put this hair on you at a discount, because I want you to look good for the hair show, we are going to wait till we get to the show to cut it on stage, okay? They'd say, okay. We'd put it in. It looked so good and natural because I did texturize their hair first. I broke up their ends so there was no solid lines, put the extensions in. It blended around the face because of the pattern I put it in. I followed the curves of the head for the top and bottom row, which gave the outline a curve and the shape of their hairline down in the bottom of the style structure also. So sure, most people want some trimming done after that, but it wasn't necessary. And often we'd get to the show and boom, everything started happening so fast. We're going to work, we're setting up the booth, we're doing clients, and we didn't get to their haircut till maybe the second day of the show. They still looked amazing. They're styling their hair, and we're using it as a selling point on stage. You know what? We just put these 3 girls full heads of extensions in and haven't even cut it yet. That's how natural ours looks on the end. When people want more solid ends, I don't really understand that. It hardly ever looks real because you put a row in here and a row in here. Mm-hmm. Well, then it looks like that down in the bottom. It's solid on top of solid. It's hard to get that to blend. You end up coming in there with thinning shears, texturizing shears, point cutting, razor, something to break it up. So the fact that ours is broken up helps out a lot. So don't over order length. Get the shorter length that you need, because if you order it too long and then you're trying to cut it to that shorter length, you kind of negated the natural end look, in my opinion. What do you think about that? And then
when we're talking about shorter and regular and extra long and stuff, so the shorter length is about 14 to 16 inches, about 16 inches.
That's very long.
Realistically speaking, that's about shoulder to collarbone length. When we're talking about the regular, it's about 18 to 20. So you're talking about bra strap, mid-back.
A little past the bra strap in most cases.
Yeah, it really, depending on your torso and everything. Sure.
Yeah.
And then the extra long length is 28 inches long. I mean, that's down to your waist. You're sitting on that hair.
It's it's at least going past your belt and probably longer, depending on where you wear your belt.
Back in the day, we used to call it one way. Now we just, used to call it cousin, and then we started calling it cousin it hair. Now, I don't know what would be the modern thing to describe. Who nowadays has super long hair down to their waist like that?
Not too many people, actually.
Not too many people.
I say that. Not too many individual, standout people. We did have not too long ago where it's just like all the celebrities are doing it, but it's extensions, which is fine because it helps us out as a company. Look, she got extensions. A lot of the singers are wearing hair past their butt for a music video, for a hair show, their show, which looks like a hair show, but it's their concert or whatever, and they have ridiculously long hair. But then when they're traveling on the road and they're doing their reality show, they don't necessarily have long hair. So I love that they show that they can wear hair sometimes and not wear hair sometimes. It helps people realize it. So a lot of times it is a wig, but we've got, I know when I'm going to a few, is our hair actually 28 inches or 24 inches? Or extra long?
The extra long? No, it's 26 to 28.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 28. And it's usually 28. It's long, man. It is really long.
Because people ask me, do you have that 30-inch hair or that 28-inch hair? And I just don't want to put that long a hair in. I don't find that the clients usually have great success with it. It's more work than they're ready to deal with. Right. And so I guess it's different up there. But you're right. When I've traveled doing the hair replacement classes and extensions come up and we talk about it, it's interesting. The big cities I'm in, a lot of, I don't even know if I should say what sector necessarily, but people are telling me, well, we've got a bunch of girls coming in from the strip club and they want that really long hair right now. Or we are in Vegas and we got some showgirls. They want that really, really long hair right now. So I know last year it was a trend, and it wasn't just strippers and showgirls because the celebrities were doing it also, but it was usually working girls. And I don't mean in a negative working kind of way, but girls that were working where their hair made a big difference in their job and they needed to show off some hair. They were going ridiculously long last year. It's kind of trended back a little bit this year, but I always said that wasn't necessarily us. We're not just show hair. We're everyday hair. We can be show hair too, but for the most part, I think my most favorite day of doing extensions in the salon was when I had my pastor's wife in one chair. I was doing my pastor's wife, and this other hairdresser was doing a stripper's hair. And they were just talking like normal girls. Now, of course, they both had a little bit different words in their language. And when and, and when and when my colleague's girl went to the bathroom, I apologized for some of the curse words that were coming out. And she said, "You don't think I've heard those words before?" But I just thought that was such a perfect representation of everybody wears extensions. Everything from the house mom, the pastor's wife, the dancer at a club. I mean, everybody wants to look a little bit better, wants a little bit more hair, maybe a little thicker, maybe a little longer. And that's where we made the most money in extensions, was not the full heads. We started selling people on the fact that because we sell 10 strands in a pack.
Yeah.
Got that. As a matter of fact, we also sell that other brand of extensions. And so it comes 25 strands per pack. And so I had a girl that just kind of was doing them both now. And she texted me this morning, "I don't know how to charge for that with 25 strands per pack, it's harder to sell individual strands." I said, "I know, it is a limitation. It's different." She said, "I'm so used to she hair. I'm so used to being able to just sell 3 or 4 strands. And since it's only 10 in a pack," she said, "I would buy a bunch of the different fantasy colors right now at the beginning of the summer. A lot of the moms come in and want to put a couple of red pieces, a couple of blue, a couple of green on their little girl's hair for the summer. And I can easily take them out at the end of the summer. They'll last 2 or 3 months. And the little girls are having fun, but they can't go back to school with that." So she loved the temporary highlights, fantasy colors, without having to bleach and tone and then go back at the end of the summer and color it. Taking them out, deeper, quick, damage, just less guesswork, because then you color it back to whatever the natural color was in the fall for school, and then it fades a little bit, and then they get blamed for having highlights in school, and they get in trouble, and they get it through the winter. And so the extensions are just a easier thing to do. You don't have to keep that other screen up. I don't know if you're doing.
I switched back to us. I had it ready just in case, but I did switch back to us. One of the other nice things about being sold an increment of 10s, and speaking of trends right now too, foiling, strong foiling. That's what we're seeing a lot on Instagram right now is going back, balayage. The effect of balayage is good. It's still popular, but people want to see that contrast. People so foiling is starting to become a little bit more popular right now too. And with the solid colors, and especially with the rooted colors, with the ombre colors, just being able to give you that definition. I did a video on expensive brunettes. The trend of expensive brunettes right now is really popular, right? So I was doing a couple of formulas.
Expensive. What does that mean, expensive brunettes?
So it's interesting because in hair color, okay, so bookmark extensions for a second. In hair color, okay. How do you take a brunette? How do you give it tonality, dimension, and depth all at the same time? They may all sound similar, but they're very, very different. How do you give something vibrancy and shine, but at the same time give it darkness and richness? Because those two, they contradict each other. Mm-hmm. And then how do you keep that balance between everything? When you look at the red carpet, when you look at these Hollywood starlets, when you look at the award shows, when people are not getting smacked around like a little bitch, that those styles, what those people, when they're receiving their awards, the camera's flashing and everything, it's just glowing. Their hair is glowing. It's shiny as hell. It's beautiful. So that's the expensive. That's what makes it look so expensive, because it looks like they did a lot of things to their hair, And we do that with overglazes, with toners. We mix and match 2 different colors, 3 different colors to try to combine all of that together. And then you got to maintain all of that. That's the expensive part of it. It looks like it's a high maintenance thing. How do you simplify that? You take a balayage, you take an ombre, you take a mixed, and then you take a solid color. 4 different extensions. Now I'm going extreme because I like having fun. But if you want to simplify that, you could take a balayage. You could take one of these balayage. I got the wrong ring. You could take one of these balayage extensions, right? In a balayage extension, you're getting the combination of 3 things all at the same shot. You're getting a highlight and low light mixed color through the ends. You're getting a rooted color through the top. By the time you place it through, and because it comes in 10 pieces, you could do a partial all through the top of the head. Now you've got that nice contrast coming through the bottom. You've created the effect. What would take you an hour, hour and a half with a hair coloring to do with between processing and application.
Right.
You pop it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You could take an ombre extension. Oh, Bernard, this was another observation that I made on the ring. If you could kind of see that, the ombre colors are longer swatches compared to the rooted and the balayage. So it could really show off the 3 different tonal effects going through the swatch.
It. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So you could take one of these extensions and you can create that dimensional, that depth, and that richness all at the same time, instantly.
I love this term, the expensive brunette. I don't know if I like the exact words just yet, but I love where you're going with that. Maybe the more profitable brunette, because you know what instantly comes in my head is back in beauty school, whatever school you want to call it, in hair school. Back when I went, that's what they actually called it. In hair school, it was very just color. You just put a lot of brown color on gray-headed ladies, or even people that didn't have gray, just lighter brown. They wanted it darker. And it was probably what you're saying, it was probably the least profitable. Now, it's better than just a haircut. You make a little bit more money doing color. But I like what you're saying, whether you're actually making a little bit more money. But I think the hairdresser could make a little more money. Instead of that same old boring brown color, whatever brown it is, because so many people do just get their grays covered. And you're like, oh, regular root touch-up, have a seat, go in the back, mix the brown color, put on the roots, goodbye. Root touch-up, and the same thing over and over. So now you can do so. Even if you're not doing extensions, I know all of this relates to extensions. It really does. But what you're saying is even change up that dark color process and make it an expensive brunette. I don't know what word to add to that to ask a client if they want this better brunette. That might be it right there. You want the better brunette color today or the regular brunette color?
Well, think about it this way. We're coming into spring. Okay.
Yeah.
6N, level 6 natural, is the #1 selling shade of hair color of all time.
Isn't it crazy? It's in the middle.
Insane, right? Now, level 5N, 5 natural, and 7 natural, 5N and 7N, is a close #2. So I'll tell you this way. In a specific region, in the Chicago metropolitan area, there is an area called the North Shore, which is a suburb of Chicago, within the Chicago metropolitan area.
North
Shore. 60% of the women in the North Shore are some kind of 6N formula as a base. Another 20% are either 5 or 7N. So 80% of the dozen or dozen and a half towns that encompass the North Shore area, 80% are basically boring, natural brown hair. And now in the spring, they're like, oh, I want to go a little bit lighter, half a shade. Oh, it's going winter again. I want to go a little bit darker, half a shade. So they never change. It's the same flat, boring color. How do you spice that up? And there's a lot of turnover. Why? The #1 reason why clients leave their stylist is because they heard or saw something new and different, or at least what they perceived to be something new and different somewhere else.
Right.
And it's not because they didn't like the stylist. It's not because they didn't trust the stylist anymore. It's not because they didn't believe in the stylist anymore. They just didn't know that their own stylist could do anything different. Like you're saying,
right.
Oh, hi, madam. You're coming in today. Are we doing... Bernard, I've been in some salons. They've got the formula mixed before the client even walked in. Like you never even had an opportunity to do a consult to figure out if madam wants something different today.
That is sad. And you know what? I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've been guilty of that.
I've never done it. No.
When I was blowing and going and I had so many customers booked, I had assistants. It was running like a very clean system. I can remember knowing that, when we saw, I wouldn't mix if I didn't know if they were going to show. Most of my clients were showing. I was booked pretty solid. Car pulled up in the parking lot. My assistant started mixing the color because she knew what they were going to be wearing. I'm not proud of that, but I'm saying that's true. I've done it. I've been there.
My mentors were very, very strict and were extremely harsh. So it was always burned into my brains. If you run behind for the rest of the day consistently, and you eventually will catch up, then you catch up, but you consistently run behind for the rest of the day, which means the time that you have to spend on that client includes greeting, consult, in the back, mixing up preparation, application, process, style, and finish. That was it. Like there was no deviating from that at all. So
don't skip anything, right?
Yeah, my mentors were extremely strict.
Look at it from the outside in. It makes me mad when I walk in my salon. But I mean, I started young, so I did some things. I did all the wrong things, also, to become a profitable stylist. And one of those things that I see my stylists do now, I know I did. I mean, I don't know if I worded it like this. I hate even saying the words when I see it. But one of my top stylists, I mean, she sees the client come in and she says, "We're doing the same thing?" And they say, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay." And she says, "Have a seat." I'm like, are we doing the same thing? That sounds so boring. I mean, even if you are doing the same thing, I think you could word that differently. What are we doing today? Let them tell you. Same thing.
Yeah.
That it's okay for them to be boring, but I don't want to be the boring one anymore.
But then also think about this. That same old thing that you did on that client, you don't have a before and after. That doesn't go on Instagram. It doesn't go on your advertising. It doesn't build your portfolio.
That's true.
So when somebody goes on Instagram, I'll see somebody has, I don't know, it's the difference between having 100 pictures on your Instagram account or 1,000 pictures on your Instagram account. And someone's going to say, well, what, I got 1,000 pictures of the same thing? No, it's very impressive that you have 1,000 pictures because you've done 1,000 hair. That
even if it was only 100 people, but you changed each one each time they come up enough to take another picture of it. Yeah, that's really good. I like what you're saying there.
Yeah, you've got styles, variations in styles. So you have a range of things. There's like we have 160 different shades of swatch colors now. You have a range that you could work with it.
Well, even, what I started realizing is that we are creatures of habit. So I would try to take like one bad saying like that and just change it. What is one little saying that I could change as soon as a customer comes in and say something different that's more positive, more moving forward kind of thing? Just say something like, what are we doing new today? What are we doing different today? Or what change would you like to make today? Even if they go, oh, no change, let's do the same thing as last time. Are you sure? I mean, even if it's just that one little encouragement to try something different, most people are going to ask, what are you thinking? What were you thinking? What would you like to do? Oh, I don't know. Or, oh, yeah, my friend, my mom, my whatever coworker did this thing. Maybe we could do this. Or I saw your Instagram, like you're saying. So, right, if you just give a little hint of encouragement of we could change it up a little, most of them are going to want to do a little. And like you said, it doesn't have to be big. It can be just a little darker or a little lighter at the root. It could be just, the biggest change I remember starting to make was every color customer. This was back in the very old days, the very old boring days. There was not much ombre balayage going on at this time. I was putting color on a lot of roots, just covering grays. And this one day I decided I'm not heating up the color. I'm letting it process for a full about 30 minutes. And so I kind of did a rooted ombre-ish balayage type of look by saying, you want to add a few highlights in there? And they said, oh, I don't have time today. I said, I'm going to throw a few foils just on the top of your head while your root color's processing. And this is, again, a long time ago. I remember till this day, though, I just added an extra $30 for that and put 4 or 5 foils on top. So every single color customer, now I wasn't a smoker, so I wasn't outside smoking my cigarette during that 30 minutes. I wasn't sneaking a lunch in. I didn't get many bathroom breaks. Instead, I was taking like 5-10 minutes, adding a few highlights on top. I was not toning it. I did not try to get it a certain color. I said, listen, we're going to add a little bit of brightness to the top of your head. Just throw a few extra highlights in for an extra $30. And they're like, ooh, when you say highlight, I said, oh, it's not going to be blonde. I'm just going to see this was the sales pitch I did. I said, we're just going to see what your hair likes. That was it. We're just going to throw a few in there, and it's as if you were in the sun, and the sun started lightening the top a little bit, and it's just going to lift it a little. Some people have a little reddish blonde. Some are a little more golden. Some will come out blonde. Let's just see what your hair likes to do. And with the positive encouragement, they were like, okay. And so because I had color on the root, the bleach, even if I did kind of paint it on down close to the scalp, that bleach mixed with the color, it was a little bit different color at the root, but it wasn't brown, it wasn't blonde, it was a bit of a melt. And so I had I don't know which one of these colors you would call that, but I had a little bit of a root melt into a highlight that came out about this way, far away from the scalp.
So that would be closer to the ombre extension swatches that we have, and that would be closer to some of the balayage swatches that we have as well too. You know, Shatush could even work in that situation. And that's one of the nice things about these is that how many times have you had a client, you get done, you color them, you cut their hair, you blow dry style, you're done, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, I really like the haircut. I really like the style. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how fun is the hair color looking to you? It's like, well, yeah, I like it. It's good. You know, maybe we could break it up. Is it looking a little too solid? Is it ever looking a little too dark? Something like that. And you're thinking in your head, well, now what? Now what do I do? Well, usually we'll tell somebody it'll fade in a couple of washes. It'll lighten up after a couple of washes, you know?
I'd never say that, but I hear it.
I've heard stylists say this. Yeah. So instead, you could take an extension and you could throw that in and break up that solidness real quick, you know, and you can have a lot of fun with that. So that's the other power of the She hair extensions coming in increments of 10 pieces. You could grab a quick pack, break it up, take 2, 3, 4 strands out of there. How, you know, you don't need a lot.
No, you don't. But you can put half a pack on 5 on one side of the head, 5 on the other, and you kind of just right along this hairline here and add hair. What I like, I call it the nurse's hidden highlight. We have a couple of hospitals around us, and a lot of the nurses, they don't, although these days a lot of bosses don't care what your hair looks like, what color it is, but some of these nurses want to look a little professional during the day. So right down the hairline here, we'll put 5 of one color here, 5 right there. When they put it in a ponytail during the day for work, you don't see it. But when they let their hair down right over the front of the shoulder here, you can see that acid green, red, blue, purple, blonde, brown, whatever contrast they want compared to their hair. It just kind of shows underneath. Yeah, and there's so many you can pick from. But I don't know if I finished the story early on when I said where we make most of our money is just in a pack of hair here and there. Just putting a few strands on each side of the head to either put a little blonde around the face because some people want to be a little brightened around the face, or just to thicken it a little bit. Just putting 5 strands on each side, 1 pack of hair on each side, 1 pack of hair for about, I mean, we know this is a public channel, so we won't say the cost of the hair, but you guys that do this know the cost of the hair. We charge $100 for that pack of hair. It's more than we paid for the pack, and we made decent money, and it goes in about 10 or 15 minutes or faster. The machines heat up. I remember in the old days to do a heated bond, it took a good 20, 30 minutes for that machine to get hot enough to actually do. We turn our machines on, they're digital, and it's like the numbers just start climbing up real fast in like 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, it's ready to go.
To put a bond. So if somebody says, can you put a few red pieces on my daughter's hair? You hit on and say yes. And then boom. By the time you got...
But that's the beautiful thing about it, because it really has become more cost effective for the client as well too. The extension doesn't fade. It doesn't wash out. it stays in the hair. Look, a K-tip, a keratin bond stays in the hair until it grows out. Easily it can last 3-4 months, if not longer, depending on how slow somebody's hair grows or how well somebody can maintain it. My Carmelina's cousin has a kid, 7 years old. And we always put 2 or 3 strands of purple in her hair.
What color?
Purple. I don't know.
Say it,
One of these days I'm going to say it right.
I think people enjoy hearing you say it.
But she's 7 years old, Bernard. And she gets, so it's like, okay, if she does good at school and she does her chores and everything, that's her little reward. She gets super excited. She loves it. Her mama's not going to sit there and bleach her hair out. She's 7, you know? So I put 2-3 strands, depending on what mood I'm in that day and how well she's sitting still.
Right.
And the kid wears it for 2-3 months. She's excited. She's so excited. She does so well. I wish I can clone her for how well she takes care of it.
That would be nice. So that brought up a different point for me was the ladies that are already coming in for color during the week. We already have the strands ready with their color and say, hey, what do you think? What do you say we make your hair a little thicker today? And they're like, who doesn't want the hair a little thicker? And if you just say it, then start to explain what it is, and then you take 1 pack of strands, and let's say it costs $100. It's going to add $100 to your service today. We're going to make it a little thicker on each side, and then they're thinking another $100 every time I get my color done. No, it's not. You're coming in once a month to get your color done. This is going to last through 2, 3, maybe 4 colors, because I'm going to put a few in. They stay in 2 or 3 months or more. So it'll really only going to be 3 or 4 times a year. And then they're like, oh, that's very worth it. Like you said, more affordable. It's not every time we do color. And you can put the color on their roots all the way around these extension pieces, and it's not going to make it fall out the next time you go to retouch their roots.
So here's a fun fact. By the time you average out what you spend on hair extensions, you spend more on Starbucks each week.
Oh, for
than
sure.
you do on hair extensions. Just think about that.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I think we're starting to say some of the same things over and over. We should end this now.
Oh, look, the coloring was what was the most exciting about it. You know, I'm going to go back to the table there. The coloring is what was the most exciting thing about it. You've got especially the new the Ombre, Shatush, and Rooted ring is available now. So that's what's awesome about it. The hair is available. It's all in. We are stocked, ready to go. So that's been excited about it too. Again, every picture that you tag on She Hair USA on Instagram and every follow will give you an entry towards getting a ring. So go ahead and take advantage of that. You get yourself into the habit of marketing yourself. You get your notoriety out there built up with She Hair USA as well too. And we're going to be doing that giveaway. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you everybody for watching. I want to know which swatches are your guys' favorite. Let us know in the comments. And yeah, we'll catch you all next week. Thank you.